beautiful thing that I just picked from all you just said was that name you mentioned, Samuel Ogbemudia. Because we read from numerous newspaper articles and all about how Samuel Ogbemudia, being a football lover and all, when Nigeria brought Pele to play matches for the, on a visit to Nigeria to play against a selected Nigerian team, Samuel Ogbemudia said, no, Pele, you will not go until you come and play in front of my people in Edo State. Then you were still in the Midwest or something like that. All we heard were different stories about how Pele stopped the war in Nigeria, this and that, Ogbemudia. For you to have mentioned Samuel Ogbemudia, you definitely must know about that particular situation that year.
Of course, I was in secondary school then. I knew what happened. I think the story is a bit mixed up.
Correct.
Pele came twice, in 69 and in 72. In 69, what happened was his team, Santos, played against NFA selected. And Ogbemudia, being quite influential at the time, got them to play another match against Midwest selected. I saw on social media, they said the picture with Pele and Ogbemudia was in 1972. That's not correct. It was in 1969.
That's why you are here.
Yeah. it was in 1969.
Okay.
And in truth, it was Midwest selected.
Okay.
And interestingly, there were two schoolboys on the field that day. Clement Okufuleze, who was in Horse College, he had just left Angangama School, Buluku, to go to Horse College to do A-levels. He played at outside right for Midwest. And then Josie Dombraye, who came from Horse College to ICC Benin, he played on the left wing. And then, of course, there were other stars. My big uncle, Godwin, was match day captain. There was Nigeria's number 2 goalkeeper at the time, Alex Omede. He used to play for Midwest and Police Machine team. He was in goal. Ajasa,
yes,
that
Ajasa.
old man you see here in
That's
my
right.
office. He was the reserve keeper. There was Andy Igbeama at right back. There was Titus Okere. There was Garba. John Onagise was in the squad. Late John Onagise. Dr. John Okoro, who played for Police Machine team and later on became Permanent Secretary Ministry of Sports. And Sonia Tuma. It was a great day. And the Brazilian players I remember on the day, the goalkeeper Gilmar, Pele himself, Maria on the right wing, and Edu on the left wing. Those are the names I remember. But it was a thrill. And again, that brings me to something that used to happen in those days. Big club sides used to come from Europe. They play NFA selected, and then the FA will give them 2 club games. So there was a time MSV Duisburg came. There was a time Borussia Mönchengladbach came. There was a time Palmeiras came too. So because it's club game, you can't call it Green Eagles or Super Eagles. It was NFA selected. So they play NFA selected, then play maybe Rangers and Bendel Insurance, or play Shooting Stars and Stationary Stores. Those were the times we were planning for our football, and we were doing things that added color. We look forward to that European season break where the clubs come to Nigeria, and we enjoyed seeing them. And then, of course, for those of us who were reading Shoot, reading World Soccer, we could tell everybody we were the local commentators, telling that this is this person, that is that person.
I always love picking something from what you say. That's why I listen with that attention. And you just mentioned the NFA. You understand? And I can also remember that there was a time the Nigerian Football Association, now a Nigerian Football Federation, were looking for coaches to come coach Nigeria. And they had to turn to you, Godwin Dudu Orumen, and I remember as at that time that you also played a role in bringing a particular foreign coach to come coach Nigeria. There was a time, you had to go from Lagos to London, London to Lagos, Abuja and all, to bring a coach to Nigeria. Tell us how it all played out at that time.
Well, I like Ibrahim Galadima, who is a close friend of my late godfather, Professor Igboke. So, Alhaji Galadima has known me and believes in me. So, and I was also a member of the NFA Technical Committee at the time. So, the assignment was decided upon, and Mike Adenuga the billionaire owner of Glo, said he would sponsor. So they bought us tickets. Late Suleiman David was chairman of the NFA Technical Committee. Chief Dr. Shegun Odegbami,
That's right.
yes, was in the committee. I think Taiwo Gujobi and I think late Kashima Olaloko. So we went to London. We had sent out notices to coaches who were interested. So people like Walter Zenga, Craig Brown, and 2 Argentine coaches showed up. I think there were 5 or 6 on the first day. I can't quite remember the others now. We interviewed them and we picked the Argentine. And we reported back to the FA. Then Adenuga said no, he didn't have a representation on the interview panel and the rest of it. And we said that's not our fault. Anyway, him and the NFA worked at an arrangement and we had to go back. This time it was a stronger field. And our pick was Philip Trussey. Philip Trussey, was the pick of all of them. And our assignment ended with picking a candidate and recommending to the FA. We were not told to sign him because some of those coaches came with their lawyers. So if our assignment included engaging, I had done about 25 years or so as a lawyer then and in sports business, I would have been able to, perfect the contract, but we didn't have that responsibility. But at the end of the day, what then happened was that they took the matter to the NFA AGM or something, and then they ratified it. But before then, a section of the media had put unnecessary pressure on Philip Trussey. They said he must qualify us for the World Cup. And then the man said, I will not give you such guarantees because I have no part to play in the fixtures of our strongest competitor, Angola. And that if one of our matches was against Angola, then it's okay, you must beat Angola. But the 2 matches left, none had to do with Angola. And it was easy to put unnecessary pressure on the man. The man said he rejected the offer. And that was how it ended.
You don't mean
Yeah, it was a section of the press. And the man said to himself, I have not showed up for the job, so much pressure. I can't cope. And he rejected the offer.
You are hearing this for us for the first time. And you see, I like the way this interview is going right now because actually something similar also happened with Sven-Goran Eriksson. And just a couple of months back, Sven-Goran Eriksson in his book said so much about the interview process, about the fact that some people in the FF were even asking for a percentage of would-be salary earnings and all, and that there was a committee that they were even asking him irrelevant questions about football, about this, about that. And from what you have just told us right now, it looks like the process to bring in coaches to the Nigerian national teams are not usually straightforward. So there are some bits of controversies, maybe some bits of influences from high quarters when talking about bringing in coaches to coach national team.
Let's put it this way. A lot of what happened depends on the kind of leadership that we have. Okay. I tell you what, when Nigeria had to host the African Cup of Nations in 1980, right. Dr. Isaac Akioye was the Director General of the Sports Commission. For him, we can't host without winning, so he must get a good coach. And he remembered that when he was in England in 1966, he met Otto Gloria. And so he went for Otto Gloria and brought him 9 months to Cup of Nations. Otto Gloria didn't understand a word of English.
Wow.
He didn't understand. So
and he was coming to coaching in Nigeria.
Yes. Now they looked for a Nigerian who had done coaching course in Brazil. Wow. Zandai. Wow. He brought in Zandai. So Zandai was his translator.
In Nigeria?
In Nigeria, Zandai. He comes from somewhere in the north. Zandai. He was the one translating for him. So again, that is positive influence. I wouldn't rule it out, provided that it is not garnished with on-hand transactions. Now, in 1989, my late boss, Chief S.B. Williams, facilitated the engagement of Clemens Westerhoff Now, he gave them his place, when we were playing in under 17 Scotland. So the bulk of the team, led by the NFA chairman, Justice Ikpazu, they were in Scotland to watch the under 17. And then Chief Williams provided them his house in West London. So the coaches came there, the players, the FA officials were there and interviewed them. And you know what the rest of it, what West Ham did to our football. So it comes a time where you have to accept the fact that it is the issue of leadership. The committee that I served in, we did our job. And I can tell you, yes, somebody facilitated it. We went, and he found cheaper for us to go there than to bring coaches here. That's fine. But for me, I think the proper thing to do is determine your ambition first. What do you want to achieve in the game? When you have determined your ambition, then you're going to look for the coach that can deliver that. Then you look for a coach who ticks all the boxes. Knowledge of local football, knowledge of African football, knowledge of world football, and what he has achieved before must tell you where we're going. Yes, before 1990, anybody could come and coach Nigeria, but after that, we became a brand. Even though they are whittling, diluting it now. But by 1994, we were the 5th best team on FIFA's list, which means that after that, we shall be going for bigger things.
Correct.
But one time we're up there, next time we're down, and then they bring some people who can even find coaching job with Division 3 clubs in Europe to come and coach Eagles. And then they tell me, he met his target. Very galling comments. But you see, the honest truth is, Gordon Erickson may be right.
That's right.
And I don't put it past people because you see, the NFF ring, trading places, we know how players get into teams. We know how many players who went to the World Cup when they should have been watching it at home. But they made the Super Eagles. You see, the place is, typically Nigerian, unfortunately. Okay. But a time will come where people need to understand that we should do it right.
All right. You mentioned 1980. And of course, that was the first time Nigeria won the Africa Cup of Nations. As at that time, we were not yet a domineering force in Africa. How did we do it in 1980? I'm talking about 34 years ago, when we won our very first Africa Cup of Nations.
You see, the team that won the Cup of Nations in 1980, they started building it in 1974.
Okay.
Right? We had Father Chico. He came with a couple of other East European coaches, but I think he was the only one that stayed. And you find Shea Godwin made Eagles in 1974. He went back to the Polytechnic and came back in 76. And at that time too, Shooting Stars had won the Cup Winners' Cup in 76. In 77, Rangers won the first Cup Winners' Cup. So it was easy to build the national team then,
okay,
from the champion clubs. If you look at that Eagles of 77, 78, was mainly Rangers, Bendel Insurance, Stores. Okay. Play it back again, the first time Nigeria won anything on the continent, the gold medal at the All African Games. Okay. The two goalkeepers were AOC and Bendel Insurance, Emmanuel Okala, Rangers. The two fullbacks, Igwe from Stores, and Stores had 3 players on that right wing: Igwe, Sani Mohammed, Yakubu Mambo. So it was an easy job for the coach. 3 players, Ranger. In fact, 4 from Stores: Ilerica, Sani Mohammed, Yakubu Mambo, and in fact, Igwe had played for Stores before. Then on the other side, it was Bendel Insurance, Victor Odua, Eyo Essien, Tony Otta, Sonny Zabige, Sami Kedi, and Dombraye. 6. The job was easy then because our club football was good. Yes, we could have gone to World Cup 78 if Thompson Osien, easily Nigeria's best forward I had ever seen. He passed on sometime last year at the age of 65. Thompson was a goalie match. It was the missing link when we couldn't take care of Tunisia. So back to you, directly to your question, our club sides were good. They were strong in the continent. It was easy for the coach to take 3-4 players from Stores, 3-4 players from Rangers, 3-4 players from Bendel Insurance, and they formed the spine of the team. We don't have that kind of, comfort now. Thank God teams are started winning away games.
Yeah.
Before, I mean, everything we win at home. And because there were no cameras there, we didn't know what this was. And that's why Eagles weren't playing well. We had to start looking for players in Europe. And then, of course, we failed dismally in the continent. So until we address the basic thing of our league clubs playing good football, and then that football being on television to reduce crime against the game, we will still struggle.
Please do a comparison, sort of. The 1980 squad, the 1994 squad, and the 2013 squad. Those 3 occasions that Nigeria has managed to win the African Cup of Nations. Let's look at those teams, the 3 of them. Which would you say remains your favorite? Skill for skill, player for player. Talking about technicalities, the tactical awareness and all. 1918, 1994, and 2013.
No, the 2013 team doesn't come anywhere. They're just a band of laborers.
A band
No. And those ones are not footballers. We're just lucky. The teams to compare are the 1980 team and the 94 team. The 94 team was more together because it was a younger side, built together, within the space of 4-5 years. So it looked compact. It was a fighting machine because the manager, his character was in the team. Clemens Westhoff, his character was in the team. By contrast, the 1980 team was coming and being built by Tico. At some point, Tico had to go and Otto Gloria came 9 months. He just came to win. He came to win, and that is it. He was not interested in the character of the team as such. But talking about man for man, the 1994 team doesn't come near the 1980 team. Because what Segun Odegbami could do with the ball, if he did it, never did it in my presence. Okay, Thompson had left. Otherwise, Yakini is no match for Thompson. Adokie, I don't see anybody who played left wing.
Chief Justice.
Yes, who could match him. And in the central defense, we weren't calling Chukwu chairman for nothing. It was chairman. And he perfected the libero position, doubled as an attacker. And alongside him, Odie, and later Tunde Bamidele, those were Trojans. At left back, Okesima used to be a midfielder and switched to left back. He was unbeatable. Adele was the master at set pieces. I mean, also Gabon was a natural centre back, but we played him at right back most of the time. But Adele was, ultimate fullback, right? And then in goal, yes, Okala, he was in the twilight of his career by 1980, but Best of the Day was solid. And Best of the Day, I rate well above Peter Rufai. Agbonabare, between the 6, yes, but temperament, Best was best. So if you put them same age in a plate, the 1980 team will trash 1994 team.